I'm Merryl Key, and this is my mystery school. Here's your Astro Dice forecast for March 2023, and it's a big month. I'll be looking at the astrology and also using the Astro Dice for each sign. If you want more in-depth astro analysis, check out my new moon and full moon videos, where I look at what's happening and why from a global perspective. And thank you for the likes, follows, shares and subscribes. It really helps my channel. After a quiet February, March is full of big mood change. The full moon in Virgo is on March the 7th, with the new moon in Aries on the 22nd. There's no retrograde planets in March. We also have equinox on the 21st of March. Mercury starts off the month in Aquarius, moves into Pisces on March the 3rd, and then into Aries on March the 20th. Venus is also in Aries until March 17, when it moves into Taurus. Mars is finally leaving Gemini after more than 6 months in that sign on March 26, moving into Cancer. And the big ones, Saturn switches from Aquarius into Pisces on March the 7th, and Pluto dips into Aquarius on March the 22nd. The biggest aspect of the month is right at the beginning, March the 2nd, when Venus, Jupiter and Chiron all link up in Aries. Let's see what the Astro Dice has to say for each individual sign. Aries, you've got a lot of change in this month. Venus is in your sign for the first couple of weeks. Mercury's in your sign until March 20. And significantly, Jupiter's in your sign. And the new moon in your sign around the time of equinox on the 22nd really opens a new beginning for you, a whole new chapter. The big news for you is the very first part of March, around March 2, when Jupiter, Venus and Chiron all link up together in Aries. It's a huge motivator. Something very lucky pulls up, which is the Venus and Jupiter thing, expanding a sense of pleasure and self-worth and connecting you with significant relationships. But with Chiron there, you're working with some of the wounded parts of your soul and you can really bring out healing in this time of March. Here's what the dice have to say. Got the moon in the 8th house in Sag. The dice are giving you advice about that new cycle you're beginning. And moon in the 8th house is about purging the emotions, purging unhelpful relationships, finding new strength and resources from a different place of emotional safety. You've had to let go of something, but Sag here is really putting the optimism in and guiding a path. It's a time when you might have to look at new belief systems, where you might be leaving a place of comfort and starting new independence. And that fits beautifully in with the astrology going on for you. Moon in the 8th house is about returning to source, returning to your most primal needs of nourishment. And some story around that is being cleaned and dismantled. So new hope and optimism and new faith can regenerate you. For some, this might be study, it might be a spiritual teacher, it might be journaling, or literally cleaning out your old diaries and mementos. You might be having this clean out and purge unconsciously, because underneath it there's this buoyant spirit and a sense that you've outgrown some pattern. Taurus. Venus moves into your sign on March 17. Closely followed by the equinox on the 21st and the new moon on the 22nd. This is a time when you're going to feel naturally attractive and social and giving and loving. And you might find there's lots of physical connections in this time. But the new moon on the 22nd has you looking into deeper places, a more soulful connection. And for some of you, an ancestral connection. Here's what the dice says. You've got Aquarius in the 3rd house, Mars. Aquarius in the 3rd house puts you in a place of feeling really busy and social, getting involved in groups, and this might be family groups. There's a lot of energy there for you, Taurus, because Mars here really pushes things along. With Aquarius, it can be very forthright and even stubborn. With the third house, it's about communication. So it looks to me like you're going to be pushing your viewpoint very, very strongly. Again, this could be a family issue, or it could be in a competitive sense, like literally in a sporting or an athletic or a physical challenge that you've set up for yourself. You've got a lot of drive to do it. Aquarius could be bringing new ideas and new people, or a sense of equality into your local area. Or you might be faced with a challenge that has to equalise an unequal situation. This shows someone with very strong speaking and communication skills, really able to put their idea across. So if that's something you need to be doing in March, Taurus, then you'll be able to use this determination to pull you through. This could also involve school and education, learning something new. With Venus in your sign after the 17th, and Mars moving forward now after such a long time retrograde, I expect you really able to get your teeth into some new ideas, even collaborations and group work. Gemini. Mars leaves your sign for the first time in forever on March 26. And around the 14th to the 16th of March, you've got a very tricky aspect with Mars square Neptune, the Sun, and Mercury. So watch that mid-month time. You might be thrown off kilter, be thrown a curveball, feel suddenly deflated, or something hidden that's been really bugging you comes to light and there's a conversation or communication about it. It's the end of that chapter of Mars squaring Neptune that's been going on for some time. And that dithering and oppression of Mars retrograde in your sign, you'll absolutely be feeling a sense of moving forward with things. Here's what the dice says. Second house of resources, the North Node, and Aquarius. This looks like an increase in your resources, and it comes through Aquarius, so that might be social media or a group. It might be a community that you join or a subscription, something like that increases your resources. Potentially one of your greatest resources is Mars moving forward. Aquarius wants to even the balance, and the resource here is your intellect, your ideas, your ability to do group work, and your ability to deal with diversity, unusual circumstances. Aquarius is a good sign for Gemini. It broadens your knowledge and your versatility into something more stable. So you've had a long time, Gems, of things moving, not moving while Mars is retrograde. And this reading puts a lot more stability and support behind you. Cancer. You've got Aries, 12th house, and Uranus. Well, this puts a bit of a cat amongst the pigeons. Cancer, you're in for a bit of a surprise according to the Astro Dice. Something out of the blue, something that's been hidden, some long family secret, something really bursts through and comes to light. It really rocks a foundation and it frees you from something that's been dogging you. The 12th house is the place of secrets, of veils, of ancestors, of things that are hidden. It's also your spirituality, what's untangible, yet to come to form. But Aries with Uranus shatters some illusion. It won't be held back. It's a call to independence, and it's really like a flash of lightning or a major download waking you up. For some, this could be really overwhelming and set off your nervous system. So take time out, do 12th house things to bring your cohesion, bring your order back to ground. It's kind of exciting and it's a bolt from the blue. And I feel something won't be the same after March for you, Cancer. Leo. You've got the 6th house and the South Node and Capricorn. Leo, this has you looking back at the way things used to be, and maybe at a time when you had more power or more status or more authority over a situation. Something's changed in your daily routine or your daily work, and for some this can be because of health or the structure that your work is taking. Some people might find over March they're spending less time at work, and others might be finding a change in timetables or policy. A change in management is reducing your enthusiasm to be at work. The full moon has brought up issues of finances for you, Leo, so you might be feeling caught in a debt cycle. If that's the case, Capricorn here says deal with the detail of getting on top of that situation. And the South Node says you've been here before, you know how to do this. Some Leos might find this is about property or investment. And maybe you're looking to return something that gives you a daily or a regular income stream. And if the timing feels off, or if you want to pull back and retreat from something, that could be a retreat in power. Virgo. The full moon's in your sign on March the 7th, and that will bring a build-up and an intensity to your emotions and peak in that first part of March. By mid-month, there's a tricky aspect with Mars squaring Neptune, the Sun and Mercury opposite your sign. And this brings out a revelation, a real close of a mystery for you. Some intriguing or secretive or unresolved issue gets the clarity. Let's see what the dice has to say. Got the Sun and Taurus in the 12th house. The Sun in the 12th house is a place where you like to operate behind the shadows, and this might be an indication of you being able to stand back and let the drama be someone else's show. You might be burying yourself in work, or you might be taking leave of work and questioning how valued you are in that space. The revelations coming up in the middle of the month might also involve a workplace situation or something about property, about your family history, a change in the way you want to spend your days, looking for less structure with more security. Some of you might be waiting for compensation or a financial claim coming through from an institution, and this looks like there's a good change in your direction for that. There's a way for you to operate behind the scenes here, Virgo, and that could be volunteer work or some practical contribution. I'd also say if you haven't spent enough time out in nature or digging up the garden, this is the time to do it. Libra. The new moon falls in your house of relationships, setting off a new cycle where you're open to meeting new people, where existing relationships can undergo a regeneration. Here's what the Astro Dice says. Neptune, the 11th house, 11th house, and Pisces. This reading is quite comfortable for Librans. It's very creative, it's very flowy, it's quite romantic, linking up to our new moon in your place of relationships. And also it puts you out in the social field. It gets you meeting people and connecting with others, maybe through social media, through groups, through a community that's connected through a spiritual aspect or a creative aspect, something altruistic. It could be, Libra, that some of the hard shell that you've put up, protecting yourself from others, is dissolving a little and you're being softened up into making new friends in some way. Although I think this is a really favourable reading for Librans, one danger would be a sacrifice that comes through drugs or alcohol while you're in a group or introduced to a group through drugs and alcohol. If any of you are thinking of AA, March is the time to do it. You might be moving away from a group or friendships that are too flaky, or you might be seeking out friends and groups that are less judgmental. With Pluto moving into Aquarius around that time of the equinox, you'll find a huge weight coming off your shoulders, Libran, because as long as Pluto's been in Capricorn, it's been hitting out at your sign. So this is a big relief. Scorpio. You have Uranus in Virgo in the 4th house. This puts upheaval at home. It could be a surprise visitor, a surprise routine, something that you'd been planning is now becoming spontaneous and stepping out of its plan. There's changes in the home life and what's going on in the domestic sphere. It might have something to do with work or being in a new role of carer. You might be unexpectedly having to spend more time at home. And with Virgo there, it's for good reason. It's sensible. There might be a sudden change in your budget where you have to live a bit smart for a while. This isn't about destitution or poverty. It's about being resourceful with what you have. That new moon is in Virgo at the beginning of March, and that might be where you see a crack in your plans. But with Uranus, there's always an innovative solution, and ultimately Uranus wants any revolution that's going on at home or at work to bring out a better way of life. Sagittarius. You have Pisces and the moon in the 3rd house. The Astro Dice has you finding a really soft, warm, cozy place to be, where you can share your feelings, where you can be empathic and sensitive, and maybe where you're helping others to do that too. The 3rd house is about communication and the way your mind works, and something's clicking for you, but it's come through the emotional realm. The last few months has seen you being that shoulder to cry on for everyone, all and sundry. And maybe now you're finding a way to protect the way you absorb energy and other people's feelings. The 3rd house puts you in a communications role, and you're particularly good at expressing what other people can't put words to. This might be a time where you need to offload as well. Any stress that you've been building up over the last few months, you've kind of absorbed by osmosis. And you need to release the pressure of that in very gentle, soft, natural ways. You might even be thinking about going away or doing some day trips. There might be communication and contracts that come through that really stir your heart and stir up feelings. This is a really nice read for communication and connections in a heartfelt, holistic way. Capricorn. In a fairly momentous occasion, Pluto is leaving your sign on March the 22nd. While Pluto's in Aquarius, you will feel a weight off your shoulders, have a new perspective, and get a glimpse of what life could be now that you've gone through such a massive transformation since 2008, because that's how long Pluto's been in Capricorn. Here's what the dice says. Gemini. Oh. North Node. 10th house. Capricorn, the 10th house is your home, where you're most comfortable. Out in the world, public face, respectability, authority, and also a lot of style and a bit of dark humour. Your natural gift of the gab and your connections is what's coming through for you in March. The North Node is really lucky in the 10th house. It opens up your public presence. It makes you more visible. It also steers you to a vocational option. And in Gemini, this option might be about teaching something through your experience. It might be recognition that comes through a sibling. Or it might be a conversation where the words just flow through you and you just nail it. Gemini is saying be versatile, but you're on the right path. This could also be to do with contracts and agreements. And if that's the case, it looks successful that you get what you want from it. The only warning with this would be if you're out there in a very public place or having sensitive conversations with siblings, what you say will have an impact. It will be very visible and very public. So if you're going to go there, you've really got to own it. Aquarius. Big news for you, Aquarius. Pluto moving into your sign on the 22nd. Just for a few months, and we get a flavour of what Pluto's going to do while it's in your sign. Second house. Mercury and Aries. Aquarius, for the last few months, you've had a bit of trouble juggling your resources. And now you might have to speak up about it or go an independent route, forge a new path, something pioneering. You can't fall back on the ways you used to do things. Some of you might also be looking at getting independence from a group or a family member. And if there's a disruption with that, I would say it will smooth over. As you lead, others will follow. March is particularly significant for you cuspy Aquarians because Pluto is on your sun, literally transforming who you thought you were, pulling away the mask, and over time you'll find new strength and new power is just part of who you are. This reading also says there's communication that needs to happen around your resources. If you've been neglecting your emails, if you haven't done your tax, March is the time to catch up. This is really encouraging you to be bold, to be strong, to get your focus on and start linking in with others, but from a more independent position. Jupiter's in Aries and it's bringing luck to you in that regard, and there's surprises that can come through. Do check your communications and your emails to see if you've missed something. We're out of retrograde phases at the moment, so whatever's been missed can start to pop up. Pisces. Uranus. Sagittarius. Third house. Pisces, this looks like surprise movement and surprise trips for you. The full moon on the 7th is in your opposite sign of Virgo, so it's highlighting to you the things that you missed somehow in the blur and the background. And these ones say there's quite a revelation that's coming through. Saturn moves into your sign on that full moon, and it means for about 18 months, you're going to have to find a way to give structure and boundaries to something that's quite hard to structure and boundarize. Something's gone a bit too far, and it may have left you overwhelmed or feeling unprotected or out on a limb. March looks like a little wake up for you. You'll have to come back to simple solutions to sort it out and basic communication. It could be that something that someone's promised has gone way out of line, or you misunderstood in such a profound way that you can't work out how to get back. But that's why Saturn's moved into your sign. It's going to help you sort things up and give a greater authority and longevity to your plans. The other thing, Pisces, that you need to be aware of in the middle of the month, between March 14 and about 16, Mars in Gemini is square Neptune, the Sun and Mercury, all in your sign. And this puts an end to a long period of a kind of toxic energy. Mars square Neptune has been poisoning the atmosphere, inflating untruths, inflating egos, and inflating delusion. That's why we need Saturn to move into Pisces, because it will put a bottom line. And March looks like you're in for that wake up. You might need a new qualification or a new teacher, a new coach, but the wake up call is now. The monthly Astro Dice predictions are posted at the beginning of each month. And thank you for like, follow, shares and subscribes because they really help my channel. If you'd like to know more, contact me through my website www.merrylkey.com or check the other videos on my channel. Thanks for watching.